In January 1943, one of the most brilliant inventors in history died alone in a small hotel room in New York City. His name was Nikola Tesla, a man whose ideas helped shape the modern world. Within hours of his death, government agents were at his door. They packed his belongings into crates and wheeled them away under armed supervision. Inside those boxes were his machines, his notebooks, his life's work, and perhaps secrets the world still isn't ready to understand. Some say those papers could have changed everything. Others say they were the desperate scribbles of an aging genius. All we know for certain is that when the boxes left that hotel room, Tesla's legacy vanished with them. This is Ignored Minds, and this is the story of Tesla's missing files. Nikola Tesla was born in 1856 in Smiljan, a small village in what is now Croatia. From childhood, he claimed to see flashes of light and mental images so vivid he could design machines entirely in his mind. After immigrating to America in 1884, he briefly worked for Thomas Edison, but the two could not have been more different. Edison built through trial and error, 1,000 attempts until one worked. Tesla built in his imagination first, testing every piece in his head before touching a single wire. His alternating current motor changed everything. Cities glowed, factories thrived, and power flowed across miles of wire. But Tesla's ambition stretched beyond the reach of any power line. He dreamed of wireless electricity, energy transmitted through the very air. At the turn of the century, he began building a colossal tower in Shoreham, Long Island, the Wardenclyffe Tower. It rose nearly 200 feet high, crowned by a gleaming copper dome, surrounded by a tangle of buried cables and coils. To the public, it looked like a monument to madness. To Tesla, it was the key to a new world, free power for everyone. He wrote, "When wireless is perfectly applied, the whole earth will be converted into a huge brain." But financiers saw no profit in free energy. By 1906, funding collapsed. By 1917, the tower was torn down for scrap. Wardenclyffe was gone, and with it, Tesla's dream of a global wireless grid. Yet he never gave up. He spent the rest of his life in small labs and hotel rooms across Manhattan, sketching new devices and secret theories. He spoke less to investors, and more to himself. To many, he seemed to drift into myth, a wizard surrounded by blue sparks and impossible ideas. By the 1930s, Tesla's work had grown darker and more secretive. He spoke of a weapon that could end all war, a beam of charged particles capable of destroying aircraft, melting armor, and protecting borders. He called it Teleforce. The newspapers called it the death ray. In interviews, Tesla claimed he had already built small-scale versions and offered them to governments around the world. He said the device could project a narrow beam across hundreds of miles without losing strength. If true, it would have rewritten the laws of physics and warfare. He promised demonstrations, blueprints, and partnerships. None materialized. But as tension built in Europe, the world began to take him seriously again. The Soviet Union reportedly expressed interest. In 1937, Tesla told reporters he was perfecting the design and preparing to reveal it. Then, silence. To the press, he was an eccentric old man chasing ghosts of electricity. To others, he was a genius with something the world wasn't ready for. And to the US government, he was a man worth keeping an eye on. On the night of January 7, 1943, Tesla died in room 3327 of the New Yorker Hotel. He was 86 years old, frail, and nearly forgotten. When hotel staff entered his room the next day, they found stacks of papers, models of machines, and locked trunks filled with instruments no one could name. Within 48 hours, agents from the Office of Alien Property Custodian and the FBI arrived. 2 truckloads of Tesla's belongings were confiscated and sent to a Manhattan warehouse for cataloging. Witnesses recall papers marked "Top Secret." Officially, it was wartime procedure. Although Tesla had become a naturalized U.S. citizen decades earlier, the government claimed the seizure was necessary to prevent foreign agents from stealing his research. Unofficially, rumors spread fast. What exactly had Tesla built in that hotel room? Had he completed his death ray? Had he discovered a way to transmit limitless energy through the air? The seized material was turned over to an engineer from MIT, Dr. John G. Trump, to assess its contents. His report stated that the papers contained speculative, philosophical, and promotional material, but nothing that could represent a working device. But the secrecy didn't end there. For years, the papers remained locked away, classified under national security orders. Even family members weren't allowed to see them. Only decades later would a small fraction of those documents be declassified, and when they were, the mystery only deepened. So what was in those boxes? What did the government take from Tesla's final lab? The declassified FBI vault releases include about 250 pages, letters, receipts, sketches, and newspaper clippings. Some refer to patents long known, others mention experiments that were never documented elsewhere. But huge sections are missing, redacted, or marked as withheld for reasons of national security. One letter references Tesla's claim of a machine capable of generating tremendous electrical potentials without fuel. Another outlines plans for a system of transmitters that could, in theory, power aircraft wirelessly, the same concept he envisioned decades earlier at Wardenclyffe. Still, there's no blueprint for a death ray, no detailed schematics for a free energy device. Just fragments, enough to feed legends, not enough to prove them. But here's where the mystery grows. Tesla's assistants reported that he kept several private notebooks, smaller journals he never showed anyone. After his death, those notebooks were gone. Some claim the FBI removed them quietly before the public inventory. Others believe hotel staff or opportunists sold them on the black market. None have ever surfaced. One of Tesla's closest collaborators later told reporters, "There were papers that contained principles of great value. I know, because I helped him write them." But when asked what became of them, he said only, "They disappeared." That single word, disappeared, became the spark that would keep the mystery alive for generations. To understand the obsession with Tesla's missing files, you have to return to Wardenclyffe Tower, the dream that started it all. Built between 1901 and 1905, the tower wasn't just an experiment. It was a statement. Tesla believed the Earth itself could conduct electrical energy, that if you vibrated it at the right frequency, power could be transmitted anywhere. He imagined ships at sea drawing energy from the air. Cities lit without wires. Communication faster than telegraphs, brighter than light. But he needed funding. And that's where his vision collided with the world's greed. His primary investor, J.P. Morgan, initially financed Wardenclyffe believing it was a radio transmission project that could send messages globally. When Tesla revealed it would also transmit power freely, Morgan famously asked, "If anyone can draw on the power, where do we put the meter?" The money stopped. Construction halted. Tesla was forced to mortgage the property just to pay debts. In 1917, the U.S. Army tore down the tower, claiming it could be used by German spies during World War I. To Tesla, it was like watching his own dream die. Many of the blueprints, notes, and technical drawings from that project were later among the items seized by the government. And that's where speculation takes over. Some say those Wardenclyffe papers contain the foundation for wireless power that the world still hasn't rediscovered. Others insist it was an early form of resonance technology that modern physics has yet to replicate. Even now, researchers have tried rebuilding Wardenclyffe using Tesla's surviving patents. They produce light, yes, but not the endless energy Tesla promised. Still, the idea refuses to die. And maybe that's why people cling to the thought that the missing papers, the ones we'll never see, hold the real answers. After the war, Tesla's belongings were eventually released to his family and some were displayed in museums. But the myth had already taken hold, that within those boxes once lay the secrets to free energy, anti-gravity, and unstoppable weapons. In the decades since, each new discovery about Tesla seems to open more questions than it answers. Why did the FBI initially deny having his materials? Why did some documents appear years later with fresh classification stamps? And why do several inventory lists mention items that are still unaccounted for? Researchers at the Tesla Museum in Belgrade have catalogued thousands of surviving pages, but even they admit entire trunks from 1943 are gone. Some historians think they were simply misplaced or destroyed, others whisper of deep storage archives somewhere under government control. In 2016, when the FBI vault released new Tesla documents, the internet exploded. Headlines screamed, "FBI declassifies Tesla's secret files." But when people read them, the contents were ordinary: letters about unpaid bills, disputes with hotel managers, and mundane correspondence. Still, the timing, the war, the secrecy, the strange connections, made it impossible not to wonder. If the papers were truly worthless, why keep them locked away for 70 years? If the ideas were nonsense, why call in a top MIT physicist to review them? And if Tesla was just a dreamer, why did the government treat him like a threat? Perhaps the mystery isn't about what was inside the boxes, but about the kind of mind that filled them. Tesla's ideas pushed so far past his time that even now, some seem like science fiction. Wireless power. Earth energy resonance. Beam weapons. Maybe the real secret isn't what the files contained, but what we still can't comprehend. This was Nikola Tesla, the man who dreamed of free energy, and the secret files that vanished. We dive deep into forgotten inventors, lost technologies, and the strange stories history tried to erase. Click subscribe, ring the bell, and join us as we uncover the next hidden story from the past.